What is going on, guys? It's Nick from Surfcasting Island. Today's topic of discussion is going to be surf bags. It's been a very cold winter, so I've been bored out of my mind and I have nothing else better to do but make videos and give you guys insight on my personal experiences, everything relating to surf casting. So without further ado, let's get into it. I believe that surf bags as a whole is a rather overlooked aspect of surf casting in the fact that each one serves its own quote-unquote niche. What I mean is not one size fits all, have you will, for people. Everyone has different preferences. Everyone has different needs. Some guys are jetty fishermen. Other guys are wetsuiters. Other guys are open beach fishermen. Which is why I am going to be making this video to ensure that one of these bags, not the exact one, but the type of style that I personally have, may also fit your needs in one way or another. Okay, so to break this down as simple as possible, there are two different types of surf bags or style surf bags that surf casters use that I'm aware of anyway. That being shoulder bags that go across your shoulder and belt bags that fit on your belt. So to start off, I'm going to start with my very first belt bag I've ever had. This is an Aquaskins Elite Hunter Pro Series. I'm sure you guys have heard of these, whether you've seen them online or in stores. Courtesy to Saltwater's Tackle and Islip, I bought it there. Great store. I've always said great things about them and only great things. This is a type of bag, like I said, that would fit on your belt. This is not the purpose of this video, but you just simply slide these two slots that are on the back of the bag through whatever belt you have, whether it's a gear up belt, which this is, or a rock hopper. Any of those are my preferences for belts. That's not the purpose of this video, but moving forward, it's very strong two-way Velcro, and when you open it up, like I said, it's got two tubes. Now, you're going to see inside, I have these customized courtesy to North County Bait and Tackle. They sell the inserts and dividers for these tubes, the 3-inch tubes, I should say. Biggest problem with tube bags is that you overstuff them. You put too many SP minnows, you put too many darters, bombers, whatever you throw, and you go to pull one plug out, you're on a rock or whatever, and 17 plugs fall out behind it. These mitigate that frustration. The only downside is you won't fit as many when you put the dividers in, as many plugs, but it'll only benefit you, especially if you're a surf caster that knows what you want to use and what plugs will produce over others. You don't need 10,000 plugs and you're hanging out of your bag when you know a handful of quality ones work. But again, these come out and they're also glow in the dark. They also make, these are the 5 dividers. They have the 4 slots as well as the 3 for bigger plugs. Really, really cool. There's also room in the back of the bag. I usually put my tactical or terminal gear back here. There's more room, but this is not going to be the bag I'm currently using for the season coming up. But from what I can tell you, the past 2 seasons I have used this bag. Nothing but great things to say about it. It also has a pouch in the front. I usually keep a tape measure in here. What else? Electric tape in case you get caught. Hook sharpener, so on and so forth. Leaders, a leader wallet, so on and so forth. And like any other bag, it has grommets on the bottom for draining. And overall, this would be a great wetsuiter bag. And the reason being is it's attached to your belt. You don't have the headache of a bag riding up when you're trying to swim out to a rock up over your chest. I haven't done that personally yet. Maybe I will, maybe I won't in the future, depending on if I want to explore more Montauk and areas like that. A little bit of a hike from where I am, but just a suggestion, something I've seen online, I've seen other people do, so This would be one of the top-notch bags, I believe. I know the Gear Up 2-tube as well. That's a good bag as well. I believe they're around the same price in that $150 to $180 range. Don't quote me on it. But again, nothing but great things about this bag. Okay, so moving on to the next bag I'm going to talk about was the company I previously mentioned regarding the Aquaskins 2-tube is Gear Up. This is Gear Up Surfcasting's Bucktail Pouch. I had the luxury of fishing it this past fall, and I absolutely love it. It was my first, not full season, but my first full half season, if that makes sense, with this bag. Again, you'll notice that there are no straps on the bag, making it a belt bag, which is meant to be fit, like I said, through these two slits. Great material. Like I said, it has a buckle, unlike the 2-tube bag, as well as two-way Velcro to open it up. Again, nylon stitched, fully stitched around on the inside and out. Just great materials overall. When you open it up, it actually has a protection for your bait so they don't fall out, these two slits that open up this way. And in here I still have stuff from the previous season, like you got the Wild Eyes, you could fit more Wild Eyes. I know I have other stuff in here I'm not going to take out, but Z-Man Diesel minnows are phenomenal. And obviously your bucktails, anywhere I've been throwing from 3/4 up to 1.5 ounces for my area. You could also fit tubes in here. You could see, tins in the tin tubes. They're originally called tin tubes, but you can also fit bucktails, which I have them intended for. Bucktails, jig heads, you name it. Again, I would recommend this type of bag to a wetsuiter or someone that's going to be swimming up over their waist in certain applications, and Montauk and areas like that. But even on the open beach where I live, there's times I've gone up over my waist and I don't want the headache of a bag riding up. But I will talk about a solution for that once I get into shoulder bags. I know with this bag and the last bag I discussed, I said that I would recommend these for wetsuiters, but obviously guys that don't wetsuit and wear waders, pants, and boots could thrive using these as well. That's what I use it mostly for. I use it for wading as well. All the bags I'm going to be discussing about are wading, but not limited to wading. It's just as a whole what the bag is designed for. You know what I'm saying? Again, it has grommets in the bottom. It has 4 drains. Every single bag has a different number of drains depending on the size, the length, and the width of the bag. Like I said, this bag doesn't have any tubes in it, actually. That's why it's solely designed for bags, for plastics, as well as bucktails. But overall, I would definitely recommend this bag to anyone that is a heavy bucktail thrower or swim bait thrower. I believe this bag is around $90 to $100, but that's expected. A lot of people say, oh, that's a lot of money for a bag or whatever, but it comes down to you get what you pay for, have you will. You want to buy crap, you're going to get crap in return. And when you get crap in return, you're going to be more in the shop buying gear than holding on to something that'll last you, a very, very long time. Same thing with Van Stalls. I tell people, if you want a lasting product, go with them. Go with a Z-Bass. Something that's designed to hit the hard surf with all the hard elements. And that's no different than a surf bag. These surf bags take on erosion and decay from the wind, the sand, the waves, the beach, falling on rocks if you're going to be serious about it. And yeah, that pretty much covers me for the belt bags I have, because they're relatively new to me. I've always used shoulder bags, and I will get into shoulder bags shortly. Okay, the traditional shoulder bag. Everyone knows them. Majority of people I've seen especially people that are starting out, novices and beginning of intermediates, use the shoulder bag. It's you don't need a belt. You just throw it on your shoulder. The strap is included with the bag more often than not. And some of the ones I'm going to show you before getting into the more higher end bags are rather affordable in my opinion. So let's get into it. This is a Supreme bag, I believe. Shout out to J&H. This is my very first surf bag I've ever owned. So this one's pretty special to me. This is something I probably wouldn't give away only because of the non-monetary meaning it has to me, if that makes sense. Again, this is a bag I pretty much really don't use anymore. Like I said, I just save it for the memories and all the nice fish I've caught with it. Again, it has grommets in the bottom. It has 6 plus one on the side for your pork rind drainer. I believe it has one on the side, so actually count that 7. Again, like the previous 2 bags I showed you, my Bucktail Pouch and my 2-tube, it does have the straps that are actually like slits almost, how they wrap around. They could wrap around the belt. But in my opinion, I feel like a bag of this size isn't really intended to be a belt bag. Belt bags are typically 2-tubes or small pouches in my opinion. And also the fact that a bag like this of this weight would be too heavy to support a belt, even something as sturdy as the nylon Gear Up belt, which I have here. I just don't feel like it's comfortable. It'll get in the way of your boga, your pliers, if you have a stringer or any other belt clips. I just feel like a bag of this size just get in the way of all that. And I will make a video, now that I'm mentioning it, later on about how to properly dress a belt and what I currently have in my belt now, as opposed to previous videos how I have my belt set up. So I'll go over and make a video of my new belt configuration. That's not the topic of discussion, but I figure I'd make a side note. If we open up the bag, it has a total of 10 slots, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. You fit pretty much SP minnows, daughters, anything of your liking. If I was ever going to use this bag again, I know Surfcaster's Journal talked about it. It was a very interesting video about custom fitting your bag in terms of cutting down different diameter tubing, whether that be PVC or plastic piping, and hot gluing it together. That's something I'd probably do with this bag. The rectangulars are, you know, I feel like you could fit a lot more smaller circles or even cylinders in this bag than you know, the square tubing. I feel like you could fit more plugs, but if I wanted to go that route, you know what I'm saying? To begin with, I don't really throw that many plugs because I pretty much know what works and what doesn't for the spots I fish, because I've been fishing them for the past 7, 8, 9 years now. But again, it has the tin tubes as well in the front. You could pull the bag back. This is usually where I put all my tactical gear, which I endlessly talk about. It also has a strap underneath the main Velcro when you open the bag up, if you can see. That's usually where I put my leaders, my leader wallets, my tape measure, so on and so forth. Like I said, this bag doesn't have a front pouch like the 2-tube I had. It has a plier holder, which I believe this Velcro part is, but again, I have a plier holder on my belt already, my Von Stahls and any other plier holder I had in the past. But again, I would solely recommend this bag if you are anything but a wetsuiter, pretty much. Because, well, I shouldn't say that actually, because now I'm going to get into the discussion part of where belt clips come in handy. If you guys have ever seen a belt clip, hold on one second, let me get mine sitting right here. My bow is attached to it. But this is a belt clip. This is a raw copper. You can find this on any, majority of surf casting shops and saltwater shops. But this pretty much attaches onto your belt. And if you guys could see these plastic rings, I know the higher quality bags have D rings on them. These are just regular plastic rings. What you do is, hypothetically, this is on your belt, right? You clip this to the bag. What that's supposed to do is when you cast now, the bag won't swing around and keep hitting you in the side of the chest, which can be very annoying. But more importantly for wetsuiters, if guys still use shoulder bags over belt bags, what that'll do is when you're treading up over your chest, your bag won't be, riding up over your head. It's a pain in the neck and makes it almost impossible to swim properly without strangling yourself. So that is pretty much a solution for that type of issue for guys that strictly fish shoulder bags with the strap. And yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say about this bag. I believe this bag was 50, 60 bucks at most. And I'll get into the next bag, which I have to my right. Very similar. This is also a Supreme bag. I got this one right after I pretty much stopped using my 10 tube Supreme, or 10 slot Supreme. This is the Surf Right line of Supreme. Very, very effective bag. It's the same design. You got the plier holder in the front. You got the pork rind holders as well as the grommets on the bottom for draining. Again, I believe this is only a 5 slot bag, so something that's much lighter and compact fits my needs best. Like I keep stressing, I don't throw gigantic metal lips or an abundance of different plugs, especially in a single area where I know I'm going to be fishing and picking apart. I usually don't fish more than 2 spots at night. But yeah, this is pretty much this bag. Another shoulder bag, I believe. Yes, it does have the plastic rings on the bottom for the belt. And not really much else to say, because it's very similar to the last bag I showed you guys. The 5 slot, mainly I fit SP minnows, cotton cordels. I've fished this from the back bays, inlets, open beach. It's just been a very light, compact bag that has served me well for, I'd say, 3-4 years now. I believe I also got this at J&H as well. It has, like said previously about the other big bag, is it has these straps to wrap around whether you use a gear up or rock hopper belt. Again, I really prefer not to put a bag of this length and width on a belt bag. It just really doesn't make much sense at all. That's about it. I'm gonna get into the last bag, which is considered a higher end bag in my opinion, because this one clocks in at pretty much that $70-$80 range, like the previous bag I showed you, which was the Supreme 10 tube. So stay tuned. Okay, so the final bag I'm gonna show you is similar to the 2 tube in that it is the same company. It's also an Elite Hunter series bag. This is the Aquaskins Cobra Bag 5 tube. You can see it has very similar stitching and design in terms of the 2 Velcro pullovers between the top and bottom pouch. This one has the top and bottom pouch as well. I picked this up about a week and a half ago. Shout out to Outdoorsman. That's usually where I go for my local convenient needs. Awesome bag off the bat. I haven't fished with it yet, obviously, but just by the aesthetics and having a reasonably experienced background in using different style bags, I could tell you this is gonna fit my needs in terms of what I intend on doing this spring and this fall of 2022. Getting into the design of the bag, it has the higher quality D-rings you can see here, which I'll get into again about the belt clip and whatnot. We open the bag up. It's a 5-slot, but the tubes are much bigger, and you can hold much bigger plugs, which I will be throwing, such as darters and bottles. The other bags tend to struggle in terms of the size. These are slightly smaller. It's kind of hard to tell in this video, but just by looking at them, it's much better material as well. And the Cobra Bag, it's not a huge difference in the size tubing, but it's enough where it's going to make a difference with those bigger plugs, in my opinion. I was also thinking about, you can pull this out if you really wanted to, these square slots, and the 3-inch diameter tubes that fit in the 2-tube bag also would fit in this style bag. It's also something to consider. Not that I'm going to go that route, but if I wanted to, and you know, throwing consistent big plugs and big plugs only when there's big fish around, that would be something to consider. Like I said with the other previous shoulder bags, it has room in the back. That's where my tactical gear clip is for tactical anglers clips, barrel swivels, and all ideal terminal tackle that is necessary for the way I fish. I believe it also has, so it has a pouch here. This is where I intend to leave my leaders and leader wallets. It's kind of hard to see, but this part right here, you can hear the Velcro that opens up. That pretty much covers the body of the bag. Now, if we get into the pouch underneath, this is going to be for soft plastics. There's also tin tubes in here, if you guys can see those rivets in there. You can also throw jig heads, diamond jigs, you name it. And what's really cool is it has a pouch within a pouch. So if you open up this Velcro, I've already, you know, test filled this bag, and I've put hook sharpeners as well as tape measure, because that's not really stuff you want to have around leaders. Hook sharpeners are made out of stone, and that could fray your leader, and that's the last thing you want. But moving forward onto the bottom of this bag, let me just clip that. It also comes with a clip, unlike the other bags, and similar to that of the gear up bag. It has many grommets, because considering the size of this bag, it's massive. You have your 2 D rings here for your belt. Not going to go over it again because I did. But a cool modification I did with this. Leader and line becomes very difficult to fit in the bag. It takes up a lot of room, and it's not really something I like to put in my bag. Other times before I came up with this idea, I'd be stuck with, you know, taking up the majority of my bag in that back pouch with line and leader. But my solution to that was, if you look at the back of the bag, this is actually pretty interesting. I have 2 split rings, and the one split ring is attached to the 4D ring, which is my I believe it's my pork rind holder. And how you notice it doesn't affect the opening and closing of this, which is pretty sweet. I was concerned at first about it, but it actually worked out perfectly, because this lanyard that's attached to the D ring, I pretty much just fed it through these 2 slits on the back of the bag, which are intended for the belt, but I'm not using this as a belt bag, to the other side, which is connected to another D ring and a split ring. The D ring, you have the split ring and the snap swivel, and it keeps your leader free flowing. You don't have a mess in your bag, and it's very accessible. If you break off or you forgot to bring your leader wallet or for whatever reason, you just pull straight from the lanyard. And this could be my first season, 2022, of fishing that way. And I think it's going to be a huge game changer, especially if one of my friends breaks off and he doesn't have a leader. I'll just pull one straight from my bag, get a couple terminal tackle pieces out, and he's good to go as well. But I feel like you get a lot of your money's worth for a bag like this. It's high quality. I know when people are going to hear the price, they're going to say you're crazy, but this is about upwards of $200 and the $250 price point. But that's no different than a gear up bag, or if you're going to buy a custom bag, which might be even a little more, like a Flatlander. So for the time being, I feel like this is probably the best bag of choice for my shoulder bag that I'm going to be currently using, paired with my Bucktail Gear Up pouch, which will be on my belt. I'll get into a later video on how I'm going to rig my belt for this coming season. And like I mentioned previously, this will not be that topic of discussion. So that pretty much concludes this video. If you guys liked it, please give it a thumbs up. Comment, hit that subscribe button, and don't forget to follow me on my public Instagram page at Surfcasting_the_island. And without further ado, thank you. Have a nice day.